Hampshire Supreme Court, and since this is really, that's the right reaction to the nominee. Because this is really urgent, timely in our community, it can have a huge impact on a lot of different priorities, both now and in the future. We want to take a couple of quick minutes to talk about what that nomination process and procedure is, and then a little bit about what we know about the nominee, which we'll follow up with some more information, because we definitely like people to take action. So to walk us through kind of what that is and how to be most effective in advocating around it, I'd like to invite up Executive Councilor Andru Volinsky.
So let's start on a down point. There was another shooting this morning. It was at a Costco in Southern California, a town named Corona. The details are pretty limited. 1 dead, 2 injured. Let's just take a minute. Thanks. All right. So I'm on the Executive Council. I represent District 2, which is the Dragon District, badly gerrymandered. Well, let me start here. There's a short story of why I ran for office in the first place. One was to deal with school funding, but then I wound up representing all of the public unions in the state. The SEIU, the teachers, the cops, the firefighters, all the public unions in an effort to protect their pensions, because they'd all been made promises. If you work at this level, you'll get this level pension. And under Speaker O'Brien, that changed. And so I found myself before the New Hampshire Supreme Court arguing that a pension's a contract and a promise is a promise. And as I stood there, a couple of the justices who I respected could not understand that concept. And worse, they couldn't understand why regular working people would want protections in their pension system that the judges have in their separate pension system. And I left that argument intent to run. And now I'm an executive counselor, and one of my responsibilities is to decide who sits on that court. And so I take that responsibility really seriously. So we only have a couple of minutes. I'll be really brief. I want to talk mostly about the process, a little bit about the nominee. There are actually 2 nominees being confirmed or being subject of a hearing on June 26th. The nominee, Gordon MacDonald, for the Chief Justice of the New Hampshire Supreme Court, his hearing is at 10, and then there's a trial court nominee at 2 o'clock. That's Martin Honigberg, who is currently the chair of the Public Utilities Commission. Well, so let's just say a quick word about Martin Honigberg. The chair of the PUC is also the chair of the Site Evaluation Commission. The Site Evaluation Commission refused to permit the Northern Pass process, right? The governor would like a different person in place for when Eversource reapplies for a new Northern Pass. And he knows that 3 of us on the council would not replace the chairman, Mr. Honigberg, unless they pulled a strategy like making him a judge. So don't let anyone tell you that the governor has nominated Martin Honigberg because he wants a Democrat, because he wants balance on the trial court. He's nominated Marty because he wants to do a favor for Eversource. Plain and simple. All right, so here's the process. The governor's power is to nominate judges and justices and also to nominate who becomes the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice is the administrative head of the entire court system. So that person administers the 5 Supreme Court, the 24 trial court, and must be 50 or 60 circuit court judges, the lead one. Ordinarily, the Chief Justice is an experienced judge who understands how the court systems, plural, works. The governor has nominated Gordon MacDonald, who's currently the Attorney General, to be a justice and also the Chief Justice, even though Gordon MacDonald has never been a judge. So there are 2 experienced justices on the Supreme Court. One's a Democrat, Gary Hicks. The other's a Republican, Jim Bassett. They're both being passed over as Chief Judge. That's one consideration. So the governor nominates. The council then holds a public hearing. The public hearings are on June 26th. If you want to voice your opinion to the councilors, you can email us. Try and do it in advance of the hearing. Our email, our group email, is up on the screen. It's GC, stands for Governor and Council, web at nh.gov. Be respectful. It's going to go to all 5 of us. There it is. It's on the screen, like I said. It'll go to all 5 of us. It'll become part of the record of the nomination process. Let us know. The hearing is on the 26th. Gordon MacDonald will come. He'll make an opening statement. The 5 counselors will be able to ask questions of him, a few minutes each, maybe a little bit more than that in my case. And then the public gets to participate. So you can come, you can sign up pro or con, you can sign up to speak pro or con, or you can just register your position. If you speak, you should plan on no more than 2 or 3 minutes. If you speak and you want to write out your comments and turn them in, we'll make them part of the record. Bring 5 copies with you, 1 for each of the 5 counselors. We'll go through that process until everyone who wants to speak has been heard, pro and con. At the end of that, we'll recess, and then the very next council meeting, we'll take it up for a vote. So the next council meeting after June 26th is July 10th. And in the summer, the council goes on the road. So the July 10 meeting is in Littleton. Starts at 10 o'clock. There isn't an opportunity for further public input at that meeting. But hopefully we've heard from you either before the hearing or subsequent to the hearing. So that's the process. Same thing with Marty Honigberg. Email us in advance. You can raise the Northern Pass strategy if you want. So Gordon MacDonald. Gordon MacDonald, as I said, has never been a judge, and we're going to make him the top administrator in the court system. You can draw your own conclusions on that. He's a well-respected lawyer. He's done some very good things in his practice. He's a big supporter of legal assistance, has helped raise money. Legal assistance is the group of lawyers who represents people in poverty throughout the state. He should be credited with that. He's also represented Big Pharma. He's done it in a way to try and handicap the Attorney General's efforts, the prior Attorney General's efforts to supervise Big Pharma in our state. He's represented the Catholic Diocese. He, if you look at him on Open Secrets, will see is a significant donor to Republicans across the state. He was on the board of the Josiah Bartlett Center, which is the Koch brothers funded public interest enterprise in our state. During last legislative session, there was a debate about the constitutionality of what's called SB 193. That was the school voucher bill that would have permitted vouchers to be used with religious institutions. The lead deputy attorney general on that topic was Ann Edwards. Ann Edwards testified at length and explained why the bill would be unconstitutional because it gave money to religious institutions. Gordon MacDonald retracted that testimony, required Ann Edwards to go to the Education Commission, and in a one-sentence email said, it's constitutional. No rationale given for the switch. During last term, HB 1264, which is the bill that suppressed student voting rights by making them pay a poll tax, went to the New Hampshire Supreme Court for an advisory opinion. Gordon MacDonald's office supported finding that constitutional. 2 weeks ago, the Cheshire County judge issued a decision in the pending school funding case brought by Conval and some other districts. Gordon's office not only opposed that litigation, but argued that the court was limited to a much lower standard of scrutiny over the state's conduct. It's inside baseball, but under the lower standard, everything the state does passes. And it's only because education is considered a fundamental right that the state's paltry efforts fail. And so Gordon MacDonald is going to get asked about all of these topics and more. So if you want to email me separately, feel free to do that. My personal email is my name, Andru Volinsky @gmail, ANDRUVOLINSKY That's the process. Expect, if Mr. MacDonald is not confirmed, the sitting Chief Justice has to retire in August because he turns 70. That means there'll be 4 justices and an empty seat. The empty seat is filled randomly by a trial judge who's just asked to sit in. That's not awful. What is awful is appointing someone through age 70 who has an agenda that may be contrary to what you all think is appropriate. Okay? So let me stop there. Thank you all.